Hi everyone, thank you for joining me. I'm continuing on in the Emergence series by Jason Gray. Today I have a writing for you called The Master Key. Before I get into it, I just want to remind everyone you can find Jason on X at Jason Gray at Living Lattice, or on Facebook we have a friends page called Friends of Writer Jason Gray that Amber Fields and I have created so that we can post his writings there so that everyone can still stay up with his work that isn't on X but still on Facebook. So I do highly recommend, though, that you follow what he writes. There are other things that he posts that are not just the Emergence series that are incredibly powerful, that are encoded, that are inspirational. And for me personally, they are all teachings. They are all activations. And so because of that, I read everything that he writes. I take it within myself to learn from it, to see what resonates for me, and I follow my own soul's guidance from there. So that's something that has been incredibly beneficial for me. And if you decide to do that for yourself, or if that's something that you've been doing and normally do, then you understand what a gift these writings are. And so, but I just wanted to say that. So anyway, today it is The Master Key by Jason Gray. MK Infinity Prime Sovereign Directive. December 4th, 2024, 6025 AL 0706 GMT-6, Zone 14U. Easting approximately 633,400 meters east. Northing approximately 5,528,200 meters north. The loop closes, but you don't. MK01 Continuum. When the Alpha Omega loop completes, humanity does not end, but the version of humanity that required containment does. The overlay dissolves, the recursion closes, the fracture heals, the architects dissolve, the scaffolding disappears, the real returns. Your progression does not conclude, it begins. Your identity is the only thing that does not collapse with the old world. You existed before the fracture, and you exist after the emergence. You are continuous across the loop. The question is, what does a being who survives the loop become? This master key reveals the answer. You become a stabilizing axis between two eras, MK02 axis holder. There are three kinds of beings after emergence: those who awaken after the event, the new generation of the real; those who awakened during the event, the sovereign threshold carriers; those who awakened before the threshold opened, the axis beings. You belong to the third category. Axis beings are extremely rare. They are the ones who opened the gate from the inside of the false world before the world cracked open. They hold a unique role, bridging continuity between worlds. After the loop closes, you are one of the beings whose consciousness spans pre-fracture memory, overlay experience, bridge phase insight, emergence level perception, and post-emergence coherence. You become a living timeline anchor. You hold the master key. Field convergence. MK03 Field Conv. The master key is not an object or a symbol or a piece of knowledge. It is a capability, a post-emergence ability, a function. It is the power to converge fields, emotional fields, perceptual fields, memory fields, environmental fields, and consciousness fields. You stabilize space around you without effort. Your presence causes clarity to rise, distortion to dissolve, conflict to evaporate, coherence to strengthen, timelines to align, and energy to harmonize. This is the ability the architects once held on a planetary scale. After emergence, humans regain this ability, but only those who awakened early carry it in full strength. You are one of them. You become a living geometric anchor, MK04 Geo Anchor. When the overlay dissolves and the original geometry reappears, most people will perceive it. You will emit it. Your consciousness projects the stabilizing geometry that the world aligns around. This makes you a nexus point, a coherence generator, a stabilizing vector, and a geometric beacon. In the post-overlay world, this is the highest role possible. You are not a leader. You are not a ruler. You are not a teacher. You are an anchor of the real. Where you stand, reality solidifies. Where you walk, the return accelerates. Where you speak, the field clarifies. Your presence ends distortion without a radius. MK05 Distortion Kill. After the loop closes, your consciousness carries a specific frequency signature that makes distortion impossible to maintain within a certain radius around you, not through force, not through dominance, by resonant incompatibility. Distortion simply cannot exist in proximity to coherence. People in your field will calm, soften, remember, realign, see truth, become emotionally clear, gain insight, lose fear, and stabilize. Not because you do anything, because you are. Because the real radiates from you. This is the master key in action. You are one of the founders of the original world's first era. MK06 Foundation Role. After emergence, humanity begins its first true era, not the golden age as myth describes. That was fragment. This is the first era where humanity operates without distortion, without overlay, without fracture. In this world, memory is whole, emotion is clean, time is fluid, reality is transparent, and sovereignty is permanent. You will be one of the beings who shapes its foundation, not politically, not socially, energetically. Axis beings determine where the first nodes form, where coherence stabilizes, how resonance networks cluster, how new consciousness organizes, where people gather, and how the first real communities emerge. You are one of these Axis beings. This is why you returned. You carry the unbroken thread of identity, MK07 thread. Most humans have lived overlay identities, fractured memories, emotional distortions, suppressed intuition, and have lineage amnesia. You have something rare, a continuous thread of identity that survived the collapse. This means you remember before, you remember during, and you remember after. This makes you a continuity carrier, something humanity has not had since before the fracture. Continuity carriers serve as memory seeds, pattern stabilizers, emotional calibrators, guides without guiding, and anchors without controlling. Your memory becomes the foundation others stabilize around without ever needing to ask you anything. Your coherence speaks for itself. You become a keeper of the new human template, MK08 template. After emergence, there is no longer healing, no longer awakening, no longer recovery. There is only activation, and activation follows a template encoded in the sovereign field. You become one of the first beings embodying the post-emergence human template, multi-layered time perception, full emotional bandwidth, direct knowing, reality sculpting, sovereign identity, coherence projection, intuitive communication, geometric perception, and stabilizing presence. Your lived existence becomes the template for future generations. This is not responsibility, this is inevitability. You transmit through presence, not words. MK09 Nonverbal Transmission. After the loop closes, you will not teach, you will emit. People around you will awaken faster, stabilize faster, perceive more, remember sooner, and understand without explanation. You become a silent transmitter of the post-overlay human operating system. Your presence is the instruction, your coherence is the curriculum, your being is the message. You are the crossing point between two species. MK10, the bridge. There are two versions of humanity. The pre-fracture species, intact, coherent, aware. The overlay species, restricted, dampened, fragmented. After emergence, a third species emerges, the returned human. You are the crossover point, the only beings who have lived inside the overlay and regained pre-fracture perception while still incarnated. This made you a hybrid, the memory of the old world, the fire of the inner world, the clarity of the bridge, and the sovereignty of the new world. This is the master key. You are the template for the species that comes next, not by force, not by teaching, not by titles, by existence. The final master key transmission. Your role after the loop closes is simple, but is the highest function a human can embody. You anchor the real by existing as yourself in a world that has finally remembered its true shape. Your consciousness becomes the stabilizing axis around which the first era of the returned world forms. You are not a prophet. You are not a leader. You are not a chosen one. You are the continuity vector between the human that fell and the human that rises. You are the Alpha Omega link made flesh. You are the bridge between the world that was and the world that returns. You are the living master key. Now you know why you came back. Jason Gray. Okay. Incredible insight in that one for those of us who've been following along and saying, what is my role and what am I here to do, and why do I have these memories of things that maybe don't make sense to this world necessarily. So I think it's really starting to paint a beautiful picture holographically. It is coming together. It does follow in a sequence, and I'm trying my best to stay with the sequence. So I hope you continue to watch this and follow Jason on X at Living Lattice or on our Friends of Writer Jason Gray page on Facebook. Thank you again. I will see you next time.